So in today's video here, what we are going to learn is how to use shared memory to make our CUDA programs efficient. Now the thing is, basically when we have a large amount of memory, large amount of data to access, and this data is being accessed from RAM, I should say global memory. So global memory access time is more, and we have a shared memory available with each streaming multiprocessor. Maybe the shared memory is small, but it is faster than the global memory access. So if we are able to use this shared memory, we can make the programs faster. Even if we want to store something in shared memory, it means we will have to access the global memory at least once. So if we are using the data repeatedly, means there is some data which is being used more than once. So in that case, we can keep the data in shared memory so that it could be used more than once. In our CUDA programs, the data can be used more than once. It means data can be used by multiple threads. If we talk about one streaming multiprocessor, we have multiple threads in one streaming multiple processor. In that case, multiple threads are performing on different data. However, there can be some scenario in which multiple threads are using a piece of data for their work. Now this piece of data can be kept in shared memory. That is what we are saying. So what they are suggesting is there is something called tiles. You would have heard about the walls or even the floors, which can be what we do is which can be covered by tiles. Although the tiles are small, but we keep the multiple tiles and cover the whole floor or cover the whole wall. So here also, if we have a matrix kind of thing to access, we can make tiles. I should say we should divide the matrix into smaller parts, and we will access this smaller part, keep it in shared memory to be accessed by the different threads, and then again we load the next part of the matrix. So the whole thing is that we have to reduce the number of global memory access. If at all this kind of effort, we are keeping the data into shared memory, if this kind of effort is going to reduce the amount of global memory access, then it is helpful. Then we can use this shared memory. Otherwise, it may not be that much helpful. If for every operation the data is being accessed is new, no repeated access of data is there, in that case no need of shared memory. Okay, so here what we are going to do is we will understand the need of this shared memory with our matrix multiplication example. Let us assume we want to multiply these two matrices. These two matrices, this is M and this is N. So if we say P00, I have already defined here that P00 is what? It is y into width plus x, kind of we can find this memory location, right? Similarly, it is y into bit plus x of n, y into bit plus x of m. So these are m and n, and this is our p. P is something where we are storing the result. So if you want to have this value at 0, 0 position, what you are going to do is you are multiplying, I should say that you will find the dot product of this first row and first column, first row of m and first column of n. That is what you will store here. So now what you can do is in our simple program, we will have threads for each pixel, right? Okay, so let us assume we have divided our whole matrix into certain blocks, okay, multiple blocks. Let us assume we have 4 blocks here, each block of size 2 cross 2. Okay, so in each block we will have 4 I should say 4 threads. So here you can see for this first block we have P00, P01, P10 and P11. For this calculation, what you need is these 2 columns and these 2 rows. Okay. If you analyze it nicely, you will see how the threads are accessing the data. Let me show you that there are certain global memory access. Thread 00, it will need 00 of m and 00 of n, and similarly some values from n, some values from n. Now what here we are showing in red mark or blue mark is that a data m00 was used again. Similarly, any other data n10 was used again, n00 was used again. So here you will see the same data is being used by other thread in the same block. Okay, if at all this same data is being used by other threads in the same block, in that case here the data is being used 2 times, right? So if we access the data only once from the global memory and keep it in shared memory, in that case the global memory access will be only 1 and we can use this data 2 times. So we will be able to reduce the traffic, I should say reduce the global memory access traffic by half. Now the thing is, if the threads, okay, so if the threads collaborate, if the threads, these threads could collaborate, like they could decide that this amount of data, if we bring this amount of data together, we can use it for each other. So they can reduce the traffic. Here you can see they can reduce the traffic by half, 2 times, because the data is being used twice. Now, okay, this is a simple kernel of matrix multiplication where we are not using collaboration between threads. So what happened? We just wanted to do something for each thread. For each pixel, we will see whether it is within the boundary or not, and if it is in boundary, we will access the global memory and Himanshu is trying to, okay, admin. So here what I am telling is, in this kernel, this was a simple CUDA kernel. What happened here? You tried to see whether the thread is within the bound or not. If at all it is within the bound, you can iterate it for the width. You will see what is the values at m00 and n00. You will perform the dot product of these two values, store it, and in the last you will find the p value. You will store it. However, here you are not using collaboration between threads. You are having global memory access for each data need. But if you will use this collaboration, what can happen is you can reduce the global memory access. So what we have observed is if at all the block size was 2 cross 2, so Kshitij, can you unmute your microphone? So the thing is, in between, no one needs to present. Let me present this presentation, Hannah. Okay. So this was our observation where we can reduce the global memory traffic potentially, and actually it is proportional to the dimension of the block. As you have seen in the last example, when the block size was 2 cross 2, we were able to see that the data is being used 2 times. So you will also see that if the block size would have been 3 cross 3, the data would have been being used 3 times. Similarly, here we can say that the data, if at all the tile what we are building is n cross n, I should say the block size is n cross n, then we will be able to reduce the global memory traffic by n times. So for example, if we have the block size of 16 cross 16, in that case we can reduce the global traffic with 1/16. So this was some example. I was not able to show you this thing. You have already seen that there are multiple threads which are using accessing the data more than once, so they can collaborate. Now the question is how they can collaborate. Means let us take the example of traffic. This is the example from the book. So what we can say is there is a problem of traffic congestion also. Here what happens, there is a road and multiple cars. Now they want to be on the road. The thing is, why is this congestion? The congestion is because there are more number of cars on the road, and the road was built for less number of cars. That can be said. So how can we reduce this traffic? So now this traffic can be reduced if we reduce the number of cars. How can we reduce the number of cars? If we keep in mind that all of us, or I should say all of these people have to travel, we cannot restrict these people from traveling. So we were talking about the traffic on the road, with cars, and one way to reduce the traffic is to reduce the number of cars. And if we want to reduce the number of cars, one possible thing is we can use to share the rides. If multiple people who are who are actually using their different cars, if they try to come together in a single car, so that some of the cars may reduce on the road, it will be helpful. So you would have heard about carpools or ride sharing, where multiple people can join their hands together and come together with in a single car. Now the question is, who can share rides and who cannot? Who can share rides and who cannot? So definitely those who have similar schedule, they can share the ride. Those who don't have similar schedules, uh, they cannot share the ride. For example, there are two workers, worker A and worker B. If they have similar schedule, it means they sleep at similar time, they work at similar time, and they have their dinner at similar time. However, a bad schedule or a different schedule, people having different schedule means worker A and worker B, they have different timing of their work or their activities. So, in that case, if at all the people have similar schedule, they can say right. However, if they don't have similar schedule, they will not be able to share their ride. Similar is the case with our threads. Every thread want to access the DRAM, our global memory. Okay. Now, two threads or multiple threads. Multiple threads can collaborate in accessing the global memory. If at all they are accessing either the same data or the talking about the threads are here. Now, in the similar time span, if multiple threads are going to use the same data, we can access the data and keep it in the shared memory. But if the data is being accessed in a relatively different time span, something is being used at T1 and other is after very distant time, in that case, keeping the data here in the shared memory for that much long time span may not be possible. So that is also a problem. Let me repeat what we have discussed till now. We are discussing about the threads and the use of shared memory. Here what we try to say is multiple threads can collaborate for accessing the DRAM or not. If we want multiple threads to access the data, in that case, these multiple threads can access the data together and keep it in shared memory. This is only possible if these multiple threads are going to access the data in between a limited time span, right? If they have different timing, totally different timing, in that case, it may not be a wise decision to keep the data in shared memory. The next thing that we can discuss is the tiled matrices. Here, what we are saying is, okay, let us see. The only option that we have here is we can divide the whole matrix into tiles. Okay, the tile size may be same as the size of block. So in that case, what will happen? Let us assume these are M and N. Now we want to keep this data into, we can keep this data. Who is this Vivek Kumar Singh? So M and N, shared memory. Okay, so we want to perform some operation. We want to keep the data into shared memory. Now the thing is, here an important thing you should see it a little carefully. This is the tile. This is a 2 cross 2 tile. Now we want to access some data from M as well as from N. Here, if you want to calculate P00, you will need the data from M00, M01, M02, M03, all the 4 data to finally compute this P00. Okay. Now we are talking about tiling. Means we will make 2 cross 2 tile of the memory. Okay, these two matrices also, M as well as N. Now I am saying we will access this data, this part of data, M00, M01, M10, M11. Okay, this will be the first access, and in the next access we can access this part of the tile. Now, in that case, what will happen? You will not be able to complete the process of whole thread until both the data tiles were loaded. But here what we are going to do, we will do it in phases. For operation of this P00, you need 2 memory operations. So let us assume we have 2 phases. In the first phase, we will access this part of tile. We will perform all the needed operation. We will not upload the final result. We will keep it in hand. In the next phase, we will upload this part of data and this part of data. We will perform the dot products, and then we will get the final result, and then we can upload the data. That was it. Very simple thing. So now, in the next slide, I will tell you. Okay, this is the schedule. You can see thread 00, thread 101, thread 10, thread 11. So what they need is 0000. Also, in the next phase, they will need 02 and 20. Right. So for now, we are getting these data. We can take these data together. I should say this is the first tile. We can perform some operation. We can keep this result in hand. In the next phase, again we will load the next part of data, and we will use the previous p value. We will add this p value to the next result and store it finally. In this way, we can get the final result after doing this phase-wise operation. So you can see this can be a kernel, I should say, using this shared memory. What you are doing is you know that you are defining this kernel as global. What will happen, for each thread you will get this much part of code to execute. So for each thread you are defining this shared memory. This shared memory, as you are defining at line 1 and 2, it will define a shared memory, and it will be allocated for the block. That means for each thread in a block. and its lifespan will be till all the threads have executed of this block. So here, then you are defining some automatic variables bx, tx, by, and ty. These are block index, thread index, dot x, dot y values. We will use these values several times here. Then you are defining the rows and columns. Here by into tile width plus ty, है ना, tile width plus tx. So now here, then you have a loop for phases. How many phases you need? The number of phases you will need will be the total width upon the tile width. So that many number of phases you will do these operations. What are these operations? You will load the data. How much data? Of the data amount of tile width. So you will find out the position row into width. Row into width will tell you the exact starting position of a row, and then also you will have to pass the number of tiles you have already executed, number of phases I should say, है ना? So m here is telling you the number of phases. So in the first phase it might be 0. So in the next phase it will be 1. It will tell you how many tiles we have already, or how many phases we have already executed. Then we can add the column tx. Tx means the thread position, है ना, thread index. So exactly what will happen is all the different threads will load just one value. Okay, let me repeat. All the different threads will access the global memory for just one value and keep it in the shared memory. Okay, when these two lines have been number 9 and 10, these are executed by all the threads, then we can say that the data for this tile, all the data are stored in the shared memory. So here we are using barrier synchronization __ sync thread. It means we will wait until all the threads have performed this line number 9 and 10, all the threads of this block. Let me tell you, if we are in first iteration, then this is the first sync thread that we are getting. So all the threads will wait for this sync thread. So if this sync thread is first, it means it is first for all the threads. So all the threads will load the first tile, they will synchronize here, and then they will perform this operation. This operation is just calculation of the means dot product. You will perform the dot product from the shared memory. You will store the result. However, you will not finally upload it. You will keep it here. It is just for this phase. Then you also again have a barrier synchronization, which means you will try to synchronize here so that all the threads here, all the threads have completed the work with this shared memory. Otherwise, what will happen if we will not use sync thread? Some of the threads may execute it fastly and go for the next iteration, and the next iteration they may load new values, है ना? Which may affect the results of other threads which are executing here. So we will synchronize here so that all the threads who need the data from the shared memory, they have completed their execution, and then again all the threads come together to load the data. We will repeat it for the number of phases. Okay. Then in last you have this DP. So in last you will upload the p value in the p matrix. That's it. This is what we were supposed to learn in shared memory. Thank you. So you can ask me questions. Today what we have learned is just the use of shared memory and how we can use the memory tiling for making our CUDA programs efficient. There is also a very important need of synchronization, as you have seen, to synchronize the memory access as well as the works you are doing. So you can ask your questions. Why 2 times synchronized? Very good. Let me tell you here. The first sync thread is for memory access. If we don't synchronize here and start working on this thing, calculation of dot product, in that case what will happen, we may get the older values. So here we have used sync thread so that we can confirm that all the threads have loaded their part of values, and at this point at line number 11 we have all the needed values, those values which will be used here in line number 12 and 13. Those values have been loaded here. Since all the threads are loading their part of data, so here we have to synchronize so that all the data have been loaded. Then since all the data was loaded, we can perform the dot product. Now we have again used sync thread because if we will not use sync thread here, those threads which will perform this operation faster, they will go for the next iteration and load the new data, and the other threads which are already which are still performing this operation may get to use the wrong data. So here also we will need to synchronize. We will let all the threads finish this dot product operation with the current data, and then we will allow these threads to load new data. This is the reason we are using sync threads twice here. Any other question? So this was something that you got. So here we have seen the CUDA programs and memory access and how different kind of variables can be created. Sir, we are using for loop in kernel function. Is there any other alternative? We are using for loop here, alternative for this for loop. For this for loop, if you want some alternative, In this case, I'm not finding other alternative. Maybe if you want to use while loop, that is possible, but we will have to iterate, I think. Why we will have to iterate? Because we are dividing the whole width of data into tiles. So this loop is for the number of phases that we will need to operate. In each phase, we will load one particular tile of data and operate on it. So this for loop is needed for data. So because in first assignment we used while loop and you said it's not good approach. Okay, in the first assignment I told you not to use loop was the case in which you didn't need to iterate. There was no need of iteration. In the first assignment, actually, there was some operation to be done by each thread. Once, maybe it was addition of two data. Once you assign the data to different threads, in that case, you let the data to be accessed by each thread, and each thread is performing one operation and on one data. In that case, it was not needed, no kind of iteration was needed. Just you have to access a data and add it. That was the case. One thing that we have to understand here in CUDA kernels, that you are defining a CUDA kernel, and this kernel you are launching for multiple threads. So each thread gets this code to execute. So here you can use whatever you want. Here, along with its thread index and block index, using those values you can access the data as well. So you will have to be clever to understand when the iteration is needed and when iteration is not needed. In this case, if you are having multiplication, in multiplication matrix multiplication, you will have to iterate for this dot product. Means the row of the first matrix and the column of the second matrix, you will have to iterate. So for this iteration you will need this for loop. However, for addition of the two values, you will just have to add the two values, if you want the result in P00, you will add the value of M00 and N00. Just done. In that case you will not need loop, but here in multiplication you will need loop. This loop is for shared memory access, because one memory is being accessed more than once. But in case of addition of two matrices, you didn't need the same data twice. You needed to access the data only once, right? In that case you didn't need iterations for phases also. So that is the case. If you have any other question, if not, so for now we are concluding this CUDA chapter. You also learned how to define automatic variables, shared memory, global or constant memory. This can be used. You should also keep in mind that there is a limitation of memory also. How much memory is available in this device, so there may also be limitation of how many automatic variables you can have. These automatic variables are stored in registers, if you understand. Although there are several registers, maybe more than 16,000 registers, but you also have multiple, I should say, threads executing. So because of this limitation, what happens, since you have more number of threads, you get less number of the total number of registers is divided by the number of threads, So you get that much amount of registers. Right. So you will keep mind these things also. If you, and other thing is the shared memory. Shared memory is also limited that you get, you know. So other thing is you have learned the CUDA programs, but still there may be several new things in CUDA programs where mm, as you have seen the, you haven't seen actually, but you may understand about convolutions, you know. You take a point in a matrix and you define the convolution around it. So different kind of approaches are there for those convolution operations also, as well as for matrix. I should say sparse matrix also. There are some approaches. You may have some approaches for graphs as well. So different things are there which you can go through. However, what you have is a basic understanding of CUDA, and you can understand all the things related to CUDA. Now, you can also go through this CUDA CNN. We have CUDNN. We call it CUDNN. That is also a new thing, not new, but relatively new thing that can be helpful in your machine learning approaches also. So that is what we have learned. In between, if you have some questions, you can always ask. So this is where we are going to complete it. Thank you.